employees, no matter what you're doing,
hang on, okay,
please stop and lend me your full attention.
Hey, it's Jesus!
Shh. There are currently 80 of you in the building. In 8 hours, most of you will be dead. Your chance of survival increases by following my orders and excelling at the tasks I place before you. Your first task is simply this. Murder any 2 of your fellow employees within the next half hour. How they are killed or how they are chosen to be killed is of no consequence. But if there are not 2 dead bodies in the building within 30 minutes, you will face repercussions.
Imagine arriving at work, only to discover that every exit has been sealed, and a voice from the ceiling gives your coworkers a terrifying choice. Kill or be killed. Fear turns ordinary employees against each other. Trapped inside their own workplace, how far can they go to survive? The film begins in the bustling market of Bogota, Colombia, outside the premises of Belko Industries, where armed guards are meticulously inspecting the identification and vehicles of employees. Unlike typical days, only foreign workers are being allowed entry today, as local employees are being sent home.
ID, please. There you go.
Why are they sending the men home?
Following the thorough security checks, the workers enter the building to prepare for their shifts. A newcomer named Danny receives an orientation regarding the facilities, which includes information about a tracer implanted at the back of her head for her protection against potential kidnapping.
Company credit card, company telephone, keys to your company car. It's a Honda in Section H, west side of the lot. And last but not least, keys to your new apartment. I got you a corner. Okay, and you saw the doctor yesterday?
For the tracer, you mean?
Yeah. It's for your own protection. There's dozens of kidnappings every year here in Colombia, usually from companies like ours. But if that sucker, they can locate you anywhere, anytime, no problem.
Meanwhile, Wendell, a persistent office presence, is fixated on the attractive Leandra, much to her annoyance. Shortly thereafter, another employee named Mike approaches her, revealing that they share a relationship beyond mere colleagues. Later, Mike approaches his workmate, Terry, questioning him about the unusually low number of employees present. Terry is uncertain, but speculates that local workers were sent home by the guards at the entrance.
Terry, where is everybody?
I don't know, mate. There's some of the locals home at the gate.
Perplexed, Mike returns to his office and scrutinizes the hangar adjacent to his building. He contacts office security personnel Evan to inquire about the unusual situation. However, Evan is equally uninformed. Suddenly,
All employees, no matter what you're doing,
hang on, okay,
please stop and lend me your full attention.
Hey, it's Jesus!
Shh. There are currently 80 of you in the building. In 8 hours, most of you will be dead. Your chance of survival increases by following my orders and excelling at the tasks I place before you. Your first task is simply this. Murder any 2 of your fellow employees within the next half hour. How they are killed or how they are chosen to be killed is of no consequence. But if there are not 2 dead bodies in the building within 30 minutes, you will face repercussions.
initially dismissing the announcement as a prank, the group is taken aback when they discover that the network is offline. When one woman attempts to leave in frustration, metal plates descend to seal all entrances and exits. Barry convenes an emergency meeting in an effort to reassure the employees, maintaining that it is merely a prank and with time they will be free. On the roof, a female staff member spots an armed guard inside the guard post and alerts her colleagues, urging them to call for help. The guard hears their cries but disregards them entirely.
Hey! 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 What the?
Marty, another employee, speculates that this may be a psychological test and urges those on the roof to remain calm. However, before he can finish his statement, a female worker is shot dead on the spot. Inside the building, Chaos erupts as other workers begin to explode, prompting widespread panic as employees flee in response to what they believe is an active shooter situation.
Somebody's shooting!
After the explosions subside, Barry rises and goes to examine one of the corpses. He discovers that the workers were not shot but had instead exploded. The group realizes that the tracers embedded in the backs of their heads were never intended for their safety, but rather to control them. Armed with this knowledge, Mike decides to remove his own. He storms into a restroom, retrieves a knife, and begins cutting into the back of his head in an attempt to extract it. Before he can succeed, the voice on the intercom interrupts, threatening to detonate his head within 10 seconds if he does not stop.
Michael Mouch, set down the knife immediately or we will detonate the explosive. We will give you 10 seconds to cease and desist.
Reluctantly, Mike complies. Meanwhile, the workers discover that the building is under surveillance by cameras throughout. The intercom voice then resumes, declaring that the game is real and warning that no one should destroy the cameras or remove the tags from their heads, adding that there will be no further warnings as there was for Mike. The voice then orders the staff to eliminate 30 people among themselves within the next 2 hours, or else 60 additional workers will be killed, with their heads detonated. Panic ensues among the group. Once the voice falls silent, Wendell and several co-workers rush to the kitchen to gather items for protection, creating a tense divide between those willing to fight and those who consider killing one another inhumane. Ultimately, some workers arm themselves for security. In the basement, Bud attempts to calm Lonnie, assuring him that everything will resolve itself. In a moment of frustration, Bud accidentally strikes Lonnie's head, and Lonnie does not survive. While mourning the loss of his close friend, Lonnie spots Danny hiding nearby. Frightened, she promises not to report what she has seen. Nevertheless, Lonnie attacks her, intending to silence her. In the ensuing struggle, she manages to push him into a pillar, where a sharp object pierces his head, killing him. Upstairs in the hall, Barry, Wendell, and Terry consider the option of killing others, while everyone else in the room rejects it. Leandra proposes an alternative, hanging banners from the rooftop as a signal. To prepare the materials, Leandra and Mike gather paint, rope, and duct tape and head toward the elevator. On their way upstairs, Mike, Leandra, and Evan encounter Barry's group, who are melting the locks on the arsenal in an attempt to retrieve weapons. Mike's group confronts them, warning that retrieving the weapons is unwise. As Barry's group hesitates, Mike uses Evan's gun to shoot the gas supply. Subsequently, he and his group ascend to the rooftop, where they attempt to unfurl a banner for passersby to see. However, armed guards on the ground open fire on them, compelling the group to retreat. As they make their way back, they encounter Barry and his team. In a fit of rage, Barry strikes Mike on the head, causing him to tumble down the stairs. Wendell then brandishes a knife at Evan, demanding the keys to the arsenal. Instead of complying, Evan throws the keys away, prompting Wendell to fatally stab him in anger. Following this, Barry descends to retrieve the keys. After, he heads to the arsenal and unlocks it, distributing firearms for his team. The armed group subsequently gathers all co-workers and categorizes them into different groups to identify those who can be eliminated. Older employees and those without children are at a disadvantage in this process. Despite these efforts, the numbers remain insufficient with only 20 minutes left before the deadline. Consequently, Barry resorts to random selection to determine the targets. Off goes Mike is also chosen due to the chaos he has caused. At this moment, Danny emerges from her hiding place and is horrified to witness the violence unfolding around her, prompting her to retreat once more. Barry and his team begin shooting individuals one by one. When it is Terry's turn to shoot at Mike, Danny suddenly cuts off the electricity, providing everyone with an opportunity to escape. Remarkably, Mike manages to evade capture. The voice on the intercom then announces that only 29 individuals have been killed and that there are just 2 minutes remaining. One more elimination must occur within the next 120 seconds, or 30 additional people will perish. Meanwhile, Terry pursues Leandra, who successfully hides under a table. She deceives him with her shoes and then attacks him from behind, inflicting serious injuries. As Terry lies on the floor pleading for mercy, Leandra struggles with the decision to kill him despite his actions. As time runs out, the workers find themselves one body short of completing the task. Consequently, as previously stated, the voice announces that 30 more individuals will have their heads exploded, including Terry. The explosions are brutal as random victims suffer fatal injuries. Following this, the intercom informs everyone that the final stage's rule is straightforward. The individual with the highest number of eliminations within the next hour will be granted survival. At this juncture, Barry leads with 11 eliminations, followed by Wendell with 7. Meanwhile, Danny, together with another workmate, finds solace at the top of the elevator. Shortly thereafter, Barry enters and presses the button to the 7th floor. A metal railing is situated just above the 7th floor, prompting Danny to leap from the top of the elevator onto a side beam to avoid being crushed. Unfortunately, her friend is unable to escape in time and suffers a fatal injury as a result. This incident causes the elevator to stop, trapping Barry inside. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria on the 1st floor, Leandra encounters Marty and his friend Chet, who are attempting to extract unexploded bombs from the heads of deceased individuals. They plan to use these bombs to create an opening in the metal shield for their escape. Later, Leandra takes hold of the intercom microphone and calls out for Mike to come to the 1st floor. In the elevator, Barry manages to break the handle and eventually forces the lift door open. Concurrently, Leandra observes Wendell dragging and dismembering a corpse, leading her to believe he has just committed murder, prompting her to confront him. Marty and Chet join her in this confrontation. However, Leandra's inexperience causes her to only graze Wendell's arm with her shot. In retaliation, Wendell shoots back, hitting Chet and ultimately Marty. Leandra then attacks Wendell and successfully uses an axe to deliver a fatal blow. In the following scene, Mike and Leandra reunite in the lobby, both relieved to find each other. Meanwhile, Danny clings to the opposite side of the elevator and attempts to exit only to be shot by Barry. Leandra shows Mike the bombs they retrieved from the deceased, which he places in his pocket. In the basement, another individual is constructing a Molotov cocktail using generator fuel and glass bottles. He subsequently launches the Molotov cocktails at various people, narrowly missing Mike and Leandra. At that moment, Barry arrives and shoots the assailant dead. He then shifts his attention to Mike and Leandra, who manage to escape. However, Leandra sustains an injury in the process. Mike tries to comfort Leandra, urging her to hold on, but she ultimately succumbs to her injuries. Later, Barry searches for them while Mike remains hidden. Eventually, Mike emerges from his hiding spot, prompting a pursuit by Barry. Mike surprises Barry with an attack, leading to a fierce struggle between the two men. In the end, Mike gains the upper hand. He manages to smash his head and kill him. Following this confrontation, the voice on the intercom congratulates Mike for emerging as the victor. The metallic shields retract from the doors and windows, and guards soon enter the hall to apprehend Mike. He is then taken to an old hangar adjacent to the building, where he meets the individual behind the voice on the intercom. A bewildered Mike is forcibly seated in a chair for interrogation. The interrogator discloses that the game is an experiment conducted by social scientists, aimed at gathering data for future societal modeling. Mike hesitates to respond to their inquiries, instead divulging that he has attached bombs to everyone he encountered along the way. At that moment, he activates the switches to detonate all the bombs, sparing only his own. Subsequently, he draws a firearm and ruthlessly opens fire on the remaining guards. He then turns his weapon on the mastermind behind the operation. Finally, Mike exits the hangar, and the camera gradually zooms out to reveal multiple screens displaying workers from other Belko companies who have survived in their respective locations. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more recaps, and don't forget to like and leave a comment below.